A policy is coming to govern the local coconut industry. Empty trays as vendors raise concern about produce and prices. Scores of JPs sworn in.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Boeing. Fruit and vegetable vendors are feeling the impact of the produce shortages on the island and are hoping for relief. Some of them are reporting the unavailability of certain produce and having to sell the limited amounts they have access to at higher than usual prices is putting pressure on their businesses. Anesta Henry has that report.
Fruit and vegetable vendors are praying for relief from the produce shortages on the island. CBC visited the Cheapside market where many of them with empty trays lamented their customers are missing produce such as chives, thyme, sweet potatoes, okras, butternut squash, cucumbers and local carrots, just to name a few. And those who do have these items in limited amounts say customers are complaining they are selling them at extortion prices. Veteran vendor Angela Green is concerned about the situation.
Everything's scarce. Okras, potatoes, yams, edibles, thyme, all the herbs. No parsley, no marjoram. Can't get nothing. Sweet pepper is scarce too. Everything's scarce. And I was a vendor for more than 30 years. And I never ever see it like this. Never.
Ms. Green says her customers also want to know when their favorite local produce will return.
We come in looking to see tray empty. And if I get any okras, if I get any money, I can't put them in tray. I got to keep them underneath for the customers because as I put them, all gone.
Last week, the Barbados Association of Retailers reported that excessive rainfall has been depleting crops for some farmers. However, vendor Princess Belgrave says, as far as she is concerned, there is a shortage of produce every year as Christmas approaches.
To tell you the truth, every Christmas it's be like this. Every Christmas, it has got a food shortage. Every Christmas, we sell cucumbers that are already down here up to $5 a pound already at Christmas time. Tomatoes was $15 a pound. Sweet peppers was $15 a pound. So this is not nothing that is new, and this is not nothing that me and Motley make. If you go down in the islands, and do a survey, it's the same thing all around the globe.
And vendor Christopher Harris wants to dismiss the myth that vendors intentionally hike the prices of produce at Christmas time.
People they say like Christmas come like, vendors do this, there's raw people, but that would be a bare myth. I want to go and deal with some wholesalers to go and talk to them people. You understand? Because it's a serious thing. Right now we buy tomatoes at $160 for a box. You know the pounds of tomatoes in there? 25 pounds. Do the math, all we went to school. We buy them at more than $5. You understand? You can't sell local tomato. Cucumbers scarce, okras scarce. So it's obvious if a farmer knows he's the only bought about okras. He ain't coming too well. My okras is $5 a pound this week. You can't get a match free. So let me take them from he know and come up here. We get something happening. We go up on $2 or $3 for it too.
Minister of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security Indar Weir has given the assurance that the ministry is working to alleviate the produce shortages for the holidays. He tells the CBC News Barbados will be working closely with authorities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to address the matter. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
A policy is coming to govern the coconut industry. That's according to Prime Minister Mia Motley, who particularly wants to see the picking of coconuts regulated. Again, Anesta Henry reports.
Prime Minister Mia Motley is concerned that coconuts are being picked too young. She says this is why government is looking to introduce a policy to govern the coconut industry. PM Motley made the announcement at the St. Michael Parish Speaks.
I feel that we're picking our coconuts too young.
Yes.
You understand? And anybody who drinking coconut water would tell you they ain't got no taste. I went to Samoa for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. I have never tasted coconut water sweeter than I tasted in Samoa. Never. And it used to be, I shouldn't say never recently. Because when I was a child, there used to be enough sweet coconut water about Barbados. And I feel that we need, you know how we have to fight against overfishing? We need a policy for how to be able to grow the coconuts and let them get to the level where people are buying what they really want to buy.
In response to one member of the audience who raised concerns about vending on the highway, Prime Minister Motley says there are regulations to control the practice. She says the time may come when governments may have to enforce the regulations.
Regulations are there, the facilities are being built. Santia knows I'm waiting for the one in Warrens. I spoke to Mr. Pandor recently, and I believe he's now going to start to do the designs for out there. We took action at, Newton already, although people started to defy that. And basically, we are going to have to enforce and look, we're trying to save people and save the system, because when you get knocked down, you go where? The hospital. That's a hospital bed that you really did not need to be taken up if people were exercising safety and prudence in terms of how and where they sell. We can live good on this rock, but everybody got to live and live according to the order that is set, because if not, then we end up hurting each other.
And the Barbados Association of Retailers, Vendors and Entrepreneurs Roving Communications Officer Robert Maloney says PM Motley's proposal to regulate the coconut industry is a step in the right direction.
We know that it is a very important industry. It is one where many persons have chose as a way to support themselves and their family. And for many years, we know that it have been unstructured. It have been informal, and it needs to become more formal.
However, Mr. Maloney says he hopes the policy will not disadvantage coconut vendors.
We would need to sensitize the vending community a little more. We would need to have a few more town hall meetings, a few more meetings where this matter would be discussed in full, that we could get the coconut vendors and the community buy-in.
PM Motley did not say when the policy to govern the coconut industry will be introduced. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Anesta, thank you. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Amar Motley has engaged in bilateral talks with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The talks were held on the sidelines of the second CARICOM India Summit in Guyana on Wednesday and covered a variety of issues. Prime Minister Modi arrived in Guyana on a state visit, the first by an Indian head of state in more than 50 years. Meetings were also held separately with other Caribbean leaders in Guyana. Barbados wants countries to work together to help reduce deaths attributed to antimicrobial resistance. The call was made by Prime Minister of Barbados and Chair of the Global Leaders Group on AMR, Mia Amar Motley, in her message to commemorate World AMR Awareness Week. The week, observed from November the 18th to the 24th every year, is a global campaign to raise awareness and understanding of AMR and promote best practices among stakeholders to reduce the emergence and spread of drug-resistant infections. According to Ms. Motley, AMR is already associated with 5 million deaths both directly and indirectly annually. She says antimicrobials must be accessible and used responsibly.
At last month's 79th United Nations General Assembly in New York, global leaders approved a landmark political declaration with a clear set of actions and ambitious targets. These will drive progress in the AMR response across all sectors we expect in the coming years. But my friends, this political declaration, while critical, is not the end of the road. It is an agenda for greater action. As chair of the Global Leaders Group on AMR, I remind everyone that strong political leadership, advocacy, adequate financing and accountability are all needed at every level. And we need to act urgently, as I've said. So yes, the time is now.
The theme for World AMR Awareness Week this year is Educate, Advocate, Act Now. It's a call on the global community to educate stakeholders on AMR, advocate for bold commitments, and take concrete actions in response to AMR. Approximately 150 justices of the peace were sworn in at State House this morning. It's the latest tranche of JPs to be installed for the year. Rachel Agard attended the first swearing in at State House this morning. She filed this report.
President of Barbados, the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason, has told new justices of the peace to be firm and discreet with proper judgment and to express loyalty to their fellow Barbadians in fulfilling their duties. And some of those who took the oath of allegiance have vowed to do their best wherever they go. General Manager of the Barbados Trust Fund, Gerald Amos, says serving Barbados is important to him.
Only this morning, one of my colleagues stopped me when I was on my way here, and he said, "What is so special about being a JP?" I said, for me, it is extremely special that I can serve my country, serve my community in doing volunteer work like this for the people of my community and my country. So it's indeed a pleasure to be here. It is indeed a pleasure to be sworn in this morning, and I really thank my representative for allowing me to be here this morning.
Senior Minister of the Nazarene Church, Reverend Dr. Samuel Elcock, says being appointed a JP speaks to integrity, and he intends to uphold the office.
In my training, was taught that you have got to be fair, like I just said, to all those persons whom you come in contact. Well, of course, it can't speak for those other persons who would have taken advantage of people, but one of the things I can assure you of is that is not my personality, and you can be assured that I would never be counted in one of those persons who would do something like that.
Legal Secretary with Allsop and Company, Shonda Bowen, says she intends to serve her community in Hope Road, St. Lucie.
Being a JP is a very privileged opportunity, and it gives me a chance to work with the people in my community and to help where I can help others. My community is a small community, so I'll be able now to reach out and make myself known and help where I can help my constituents.
And community aide with the Community Development Department, Wendell Dottin, says he is not looking for accolades or achievements, but rather to help those in the Ivy St. Michael where he lives.
I'm anxious to take on the responsibility of representing my community when it comes to this work and how effective I can be towards the job.
Rachel Agard, CBC News.
We'll take a break here, but in just a moment, we'll talk live to the lead planner of the BDF's National Armory Tour Rum Tasting and Services Open Day. Well, have you ever wondered what it would be like to stride across the parade ground or tour the armory of the Barbados Defence Force? Well, we'll get you that opportunity on Saturday. The BDF will be opening its doors to the public for a National Armory Tour Rum Tasting and Services Open Day. Joining us live now is Captain Adrian Dean, who is the second in command of the Barbados Regiment, and he's the lead planner for this event. Captain Dean, good evening, welcome.
Good evening, sir.
What can we expect and when is it?
Yes, please. So on Saturday, the 23rd of November at St. Anne's Fort, from 1 p.m. till 9 p.m., you're going to have the National Armory Tour, rum tasting and open services. You can expect 4 main events. You're going to have the Armory Tour, of course. It is an opportunity for Barbadians to come out and see a phenomenal collection of cannons ranging from the 16th century, 17th and 18th century. I want to also thank Dr. Webster as well. He's donated several pieces to the actual tour and display. Secondly, we have the Children's Zone. This is an opportunity for the people of Barbados to bring their children to have a fun time, so dress appropriately for the event. We also have the open services where we have emergency services and also the protective services who will display their capabilities and opportunity to recruit persons if need be. So we have 3 main displays for the open day, starting from 3 p.m. We have prisons, BDF, and fire service who are having displays. Then we have the social in the officers' mess. The officers' mess, we have dominoes, the rum and tasting, obviously. So I'll give you a breakdown basically what we will have on that day, right? So we have conkeys with raisins, obviously. We will have sauce, sugar cakes.
Bajan delicacies,
yes,
essentially.
Nut cakes, etc.
So this is an opportunity for the family to really come out. Does it cost anyone anything to come in?
No, it's free. So it's free entrance into the St. Anne's Fort. And after 5 p.m., we have a bar open for the karaoke session in the officers' mess.
Now, you're working with a number of agencies, so naturally, I guess those who have interest in some of those agencies will have a chance to get into what it takes to be a part of those agencies. So the career showcase opportunity obtains?
Yes, please. So we have several agencies there on the Bar Square. So persons could come if they're interested, starting from, as I said before, the protective services and emergency services. So they will showcase what they do on a day-to-day basis and their capabilities. For us, the Barbados Defense Force, we'll be offering Humvee raids as well. You get the opportunity to put on your backpack, put on your bulletproof vest, etc., and see a array of weapons and ammunition as well.
This is not something that happens every day, so I think it will be a special event for all Barbadians to be a part of. And these tours, these displays generally happen in segments. They don't happen continuously from beginning to end.
Yes, please. So we're going to start around, I believe the first activity or display is going to start at 1400, which is 2 p.m., sorry.
Yes.
3 p.m. The last one is 4:30, and we can finish up with a aerobic session. So persons that are interested in having a nice little sweat on the evening can put on your softwares and short pants and warm down for the evening. It's
going to be quite interesting indeed. It's at the St. Anne's Fort. Parking is a consideration. What advice can you give to people?
Yes, please. So parking, we have parking at the Lake Power and around the environs of the garrison. It will be lit as well because we anticipate persons will stay late into the evening. So those are the two main areas for parking.
The Light and Power, Barbados Light and Power, and the Garrison Savannah.
Yes, please.
And then thereafter you find your own spot.
Yes, please.
But be a part of it. It's an open day. It's open to everyone, all ages. Families are invited to come on down. It's a great opportunity to tour the Armory tour, which gives us a chance to really look at some of the things that you guys work with as protective services.
Yes, please.
All right. It's free and available. Thank you so much, Captain Adrian Dean. He's the second in command of the Barbados Regiment and the lead planner for this event, which happens on Saturday at the St. Anne's Fort. We encourage all of you to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
In other news now, work is ongoing to make some healthy foods more affordable for Barbadians. The assurance from co-chair of the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition, Nicole Griffith. Speaking during a press conference, she said the creation of a VAT-free basket of healthy goods is being spearheaded by Dr. Kia Lewis and the Department of Commerce.
So that being healthy does not become an option, but it becomes something that everybody can actually afford. And that is one of the major things that will make way when it does, because we're seeing when it does, so that we can have those items. And so we're not talking about the average VAT-free basket that has some items in it otherwise, but we're talking about a healthy basket that will contain those fruits and vegetables and those items that sometimes we see as top shelf items that should really be items that are affordable to everybody.
Well, as the country continues to experience a chicken shortage, Ms. Griffith is encouraging Barbadians to consider alternative yet affordable forms of protein.
Your peas and your legumes that we love to put in our rice and peas, when we have those rice and peas, I know we love to have the chicken or the fish along with it, but it is not necessarily needed because that contains, once we have the amount of those legumes or those peas in those dishes, we would have covered the protein serving for that particular meal that we are having. So if we can, we don't want our children to be malnourished because of any shortages or because of a lack of funds. So we want you to be able to, get them familiar with incorporating the peas and the legumes and incorporating the nuts once they are appropriate age to consume nuts. There are ways to do that.
Time now for Sports Night as we're joined by the effervescent Anne-Marie Burke. Anne-Marie, good evening.
Good evening to you, Pearson. And we top it off with cricket. Informed batsman Justin Graves has been included in the West Indies starting 11 for the first test against Bangladesh, which begins tomorrow at the Viv Richards Stadium in Antigua. Led by Craig Brathwaite, the Windies 11 features a mix of seasoned and fresh talent that also includes Alec Anthonys, Casey Carty, Joshua De Silva, Kavem Hodge, Alzari Joseph, Shamar Joseph, Mikhail Louis, Kima Roach, and Jaden Seals. Live coverage will be on Radio 94.7 FM from 10 a.m. daily. Amazing Deals Wesley Hall are into the semi-finals of the 2024 City of Bridgetown Cooperative Credit Union Limited Herman Griffith Primary Schools cricket competition. Playing today at Blenheim A, Wesley Hall defeated Jordan Supermarket Good Shepherd by 7 wickets in the quarterfinals. CBC's Armory Goodrich Boyce reports.
There was a gentle breeze from left to right, blue skies and brilliant sunshine for the first quarter-final match, and Good Shepherd won the toss and elected to bat first on a good pitch at Blenheim. Good Shepherd's captain, Andre Yearwood, the batsman on strike facing Jaden Roll. Yearwood looking to drive and it's straight to the fielder at mid-off. Just the start Wesley Hall wanted, it's 9 for 1. The new batsman, Natari Graves, fell victim to this delivery. Misjudging the line of the ball, 13 for 2, Roll has his second. Good Shepherd perhaps regretting the decision to take first knot as there's an appeal for LBW. The dreaded finger goes up. Jaden on a roll. That's his third. Wesley Hall in control. Samuel Harry Jr. was also finding good movement with the new ball. Here he is, inducing the edge of Dimitri Griffith to the keeper. Umpire thought about it for a moment, but Griffith has to depart. 21 for 4, the score. Partnerships definitely important for Good Shepherd now. This full toss by Roll is tugged away by J. Kylie Norville between square leg and fine leg to the boundary. Welcome runs for Good Shepherd. Norville's efforts, however, were short-lived. Roll strikes again. Nadeem Holder was the next batsman to go. Harry Jr. again amongst the wickets. With the score 29 for 6, Jaden Gibson decided to go big. Back over the bowler's head. Bit of misfeeling, so it gets to the boundary. 4 runs. Gibson's partner, Nicky Graham, was in and out to Roll, who's back into the attack after a short rest, picking up his 4th, 38 for 7. The innings was falling apart. Tyrone Ross going to move along the score, but he finds the man at mid-wicket. Lovely catch, 39 for 8. Nashton Carter, the new batter, looking to get on the scoreboard, going for a quick single, but this is excellent fielding, direct hit, no need for the third umpire. He was miles out of his ground, and the end is near, but not before this. Keneal Richards Yearwood swings this one to the backward square boundary. The innings came to an end with this ball clean bowled as Good Shepherd were all out for 46, setting Wesley Hall a target of 47 for victory. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
And in reply, Wesley Hall cruised to 47 for 3 with Samuel Harry Jr. top scoring with 23. A person that's my first look at sports. When I return, I have some basketball news.
All right, Anne-Marie, thank you. We're taking a break too. We're coming back with tonight's business report. In business tonight, a totally Barbadian staff will run Dutch megastore Koyman from January 2025. The revelation came from the company's Director of Operations as the Koyman celebrates its 85th anniversary overall and its 5th in Barbados. He said it is a milestone for the company and they're looking forward to celebrating the 100th anniversary. Trevor Thorpe has the story.
The company official says they were looking for further development, and after much research, it was discovered that Barbados offered the opportunities for their company's expansion. He says the potential of Barbados is huge, and although there is good competition, they made a commitment to Prime Minister Motley, and they will deliver on the promise.
Starting from 1st of January, all the staff members are from Barbados. So can you imagine that? So I'm very happy to pronounce that. That is a commitment that we made with me and Motley.
The Director of Operations says development is on point and they are encouraged by the business climate that is prevailing in Barbados.
We always look in the future, but I can't say anything about that because we don't know. We have not made a decision. But we look for what is the best possibility for us to expand. And it's all about the cost. If you invest for millions, you want to be sure that you earn them back in let's say, in several years. And we are still busy with that, but those are plans and not concrete at the moment, so I can't say anything about that yet.
Koyman started operations in Curaçao and moved to the islands of the Dutch Caribbean before opening doors in Barbados 5 years ago. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Buyers caution. That's how Hyundai's sales manager at Courtesy Garage, Ryan Morris, describes the state of the EV and hybrid vehicles in recent days as they introduced the all-new Hyundai Kona N-Line today. He gave details of the current state of the affairs.
What we do, we tend to do great education in terms of with our clients and our in that segment. So we want to educate the persons. Things can happen, and this is across the board. But it's not a case where there should be any fear mongering because of the fact that an accident happened and a fire took place. That is not a negative impact on the technology in terms of going forward with EV or hybrid. That is an unfortunate incident, but that is something that just clear communication we have been given to our clients in terms of how and the safety measures that should be in place when using the vehicles.
The company official said plans are in place for the safety and use of those vehicles which use renewable energy.
In the back, our service department is fully capable, fully equipped, fully trained for all the new technologies in place. So both hybrid and EV, fully functioning workshop. Again, all the technicians are up to date, all the latest tools. So you can feel confident when you come here and you get in a Hyundai that this is professionals that are dealing with you from the front end where we start right up the way to after sales service.
Time now for tonight's trading report.
In Jamaica, Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited, with 14,878,946 units, was the volume leader, followed by Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial and Victon Energy Limited. In Trinidad and Tobago, NCB Financial Group Limited was the volume leader, with 199,800 shares changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $449,550, followed by Massey Holdings Limited. And here in Barbados, CIBC Caribbean Bank Limited was the volume leader, trading 48 shares at Barbados $2.10 each, and they were followed by Goddard Enterprises Limited.
That's tonight's business report. We'll take a break here and a look at the weather with Carrie-Ann O'Neill right after. Time now to head over to the weather wall. Let's say good evening to Carrie-Ann O'Neill.
Good evening to you, Pearson, and good evening, everyone. Well, the ridge pattern was our dominant feature today. We had partly cloudy skies along with a few showers. The winds across the region, they are light, peaking at 13 knots, and dry and stable conditions prevailed across the Guianas. The maximum temperature today was 31 degrees Celsius, the minimum 26 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 27 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity 85%. The winds, they're coming in from the east, southeast. We take a look now at some atmospheric conditions across the region where the temperatures are ranging from 25 to 29 degrees Celsius. The humidity shows moisture is building across a number of the islands, and the winds, they're generally light across the islands. We take a look now at our satellite feed where that ridge pattern dominated for us here in Barbados. We had partly cloudy skies along with a few showers. We also experienced some showers offshore St. Peter as well as St. Lucie. Meantime, the winds across the region, they are light. Those seas now, they are moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution, especially along the western coastline. We are urging beach goers to utilize beaches with an on-duty lifeguard. Later on tonight, we are expecting a mix of clear and cloudy skies along with brief showers. Now further south, dry and stable conditions prevailed across the Guianas. They experienced mostly fair skies. Over now in the Western Caribbean, there is a cold front there, maintaining wet conditions across central Bahamas as well as central Cuba. Elsewhere enjoyed mostly fair skies. That's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 6:01. It will set at 5:29. Now, the first high tide is expected at 9:28 in the morning and the first low at 2:50 in the early morning. Those seas moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. We are urging small craft operators as well as sea bathers to exercise caution, especially along the west coast. And those winds, they are coming in from the east, peaking at 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, we can expect a mix of clear and cloudy skies along with brief showers. And over the next 3 days, occasionally cloudy skies along with some showers can be expected.
Let's get back to more sports now. Once again, here's Armory.
I promised some basketball news, and I start with just that. Jaguars are the inaugural winners of the Battle of the Cats out-of-season basketball competition. In the decisive Game 3 at the BCC Gym, Jaguars defeated Cougars in overtime to take the final series 2-1. You couldn't want a more competitive deciding game as Jaguars in the blue and Cougars brought their A games. As a win meant the title was theirs. And Jaguars had a point man in Zaire Matara who pulled the trigger within minutes of the battle to signal they meant business. Actually, Jaguars dominated the first few minutes as they quickly found their rhythm. And watch as Joel Hunt finds Jeremy Gill, who crept through the back door for an easy layup. Jaguars on the break again, and Matara yet again delivers the goods. 3 more. But Cougars were on their heels and the tables would turn. Kazarian Adams going coast to coast, dancing through the D to put money in the bank. The ball is back in the Cougars half again, and it's Joshua Gibbs with an effective jumper. And before you knew it, Cougars were in the driver's seat. Adriel Brathwaite with the dunk, and the tables had totally turned by the end of the first 15 with a 3-point advantage at 20-17. Into the second, the Cougars looked to pick up where they left off, but Jaguars implemented a rock-solid defense. Matar with the steal and finds Dario Cumberbatch, who takes it off the board. But Cougars were not about to relinquish the edge, albeit slim, and with all hands on deck pressed to get those baskets, Gavin Phillips executes despite being taken down. Here we go again, green jerseys on the break, and Phillips with the finishing duties, and an easy one this time. But don't think Jaguars were being outplayed. They held it as close a game as you could want it. This play was all Joel Hunt's. But as they established in the first, so too in the second, they would end it with the Cougars in charge. Adams nails that 3. They went into the half 4 points ahead, 41-37. And the script went pretty much the same in the third. Cougars maintaining the lead, and these big 3-pointers were aiding the cause. That's Brathwaite again. But Jaguars kept the pressure on, and the big hitters were keeping them in the game. With both teams coming up big, Cougars were able to end the third, still in front. The deficit now only 2 points, so still anyone's to win. And bearing this in mind, the Jaguars were into overdrive, looking to snatch that win, and they were finding the baskets easier. Cougars were feeling the pressure, and it seemed their game play disheveled a bit. It looked a bit like a scramble. At least, well, it was all hands on deck. Brathwaite with the mop-up job. The clock counting down. Cougars on the go again. Adams to Brathwaite, more in the till. But guess what? Jaguars were now in the driver's seat. And with this basket, they went up 76-73. And after 2 crucial free throws, with the first banked but the second missed by Hunt, it was a 77-75 scoreline. And this is where the game was turned on its head. Adams finds Gibbs, and the jumper locks the score at 77 all. Seconds counting down, and Cougars have the chance to clinch it. Adams decides he will aim to go for it, but it's stolen. I know Jaguars can take it here. Richard Hall on the break, but it's off the board, and the buzzer goes. The gym is in a frenzy as we're into overtime. The score is all locked up. So every basket counts, and we can see both teams were into that serious mode. Jaguars steals, but Cougars reclaim it, and Adams delivers. Immediately on the counter-attack, Jaguars set it up, and Gill banks a sweet jumper. But Jaguars did not come out to play, and in this, the overtime dominated. Another basket to the cause. And Cougars started to lose steam. And you could see it by the fight they had to put up to get a basket to their name. The defense was White House style. They had to press hard. And talk about a comeback. Jaguars outscored Cougars 18-8 in this crucial overtime. Every player stepping up to get it done.
Matar with one more big one for good measure. A game-high 26 points with 7 threes in it for him. And it's put to rest, as Matara suggests, your winners are the Jaguars, taking it at 95-85. And that's it for sports. Back over to you, Pearson.
Thank you, Armory. We're back in a minute. That's our time. Thank you for yours. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. See you tomorrow.